Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This is Mat Chat. So today I wanted to talk about the big M word, motivation. Motivation is one of those things that gets way more credit than it deserves. Motivation is one of those feelings that everybody waits for, and it never comes when you need it. And if you ask me, I believe that motivation should be taken out of your vocabulary permanently. It's unreliable, it's fleeting, it's wishy-washy, it goes up, it comes down, and it doesn't really amount to getting anything significantly done. So it's basically useless. Now, sometimes you'll get a spark of motivation and that'll help you start something. But in order to get anything that requires work over a period of time, anything that requires you to focus on, that requires some sort of commitment, motivation is just so unreliable. We wait for motivation to work out. We wait for motivation to change our lives. We wait for motivation to improve ourselves. And a lot of times we end up just waiting for motivation. So I believe that motivation should be completely forgotten about. But for today, I put together a list of reasons why motivation is not very useful for us. So let's go on. I put 10 things together. So let's start. So first of all, human beings, we have an inherent resistance to change. We're always, and this is human nature. We're always looking for what's comfortable. We're always looking for what's familiar. We're always looking to find things that make us comfortable, that don't require any kind of change. And motivation actually goes counter to our instincts. That's why it's always fleeting. That's why it never comes when we need it. That's why it comes and goes. So our inherent resistance to change makes it so motivation comes few and far between. Number two, the unpredictability of motivation. You never know when it's going to hit you. You could never tell if it's coming. Like I said before, when you need it, you could look far and wide for it and it's never there. If you have to do anything significant in your life, the unpredictable nature of motivation will make it so you never get that thing done. Number three, the external dependency. A lot of times motivation is based on circumstances, based on situations, based on environment. All of these things are external, and most of these things we don't have control over. So I can never pin down motivation and say, okay, let me conjure up motivation so I can get this thing done. It's too reliant and too dependent on external forces, which makes it unreliable and makes it so it's not there when we need it. Number 4, it's a procrastination enabler. How many times have you heard people say, well, I'm just not motivated today. I just can't feel the motivation. And they end up procrastinating and not doing what they need to do. Motivation enables that. Motivation is at the root of procrastination. Lack of motivation ends up being your excuse for not doing what it is that you need to get done. Number 5, emotional fluctuations that we have. So motivation and emotions kind of go hand in hand. You're feeling really good about something, then you get that spark of motivation. But what if you need to get something done and you're not feeling so good about it? What if your emotions aren't in the game when you need to get something done? Does that mean it's not going to get done? We can't really control our emotions. And when things need to get done, they cannot be dependent on how we feel about doing it. When you have to get up and go to work in the morning, it doesn't matter if you're emotionally there or not. You have to get up and go to work in the morning. What else? Lack of control. You just can't control motivation. And the thing is that when you need to get things done, you need to be able to say, I'm going to go in and do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to make X, Y, and Z happen. And if you are basing whether you do something or not on how motivated you feel, that takes all the control out of your hands. So you can't really commit to anything because it's out of your hands. Number 7, short-term focus. That means that motivation comes in sparks and it lasts for a very short period of time. Most things that you set out to do require some discipline, some commitment, and it usually is something that gets done over a long period of time or a significant period of time. If you are depending on a feeling that comes and goes, that doesn't stay, you're not going to be able to do anything that requires long-term commitment with a short-term inspiration. So that makes it completely unreliable. Number 8, It's overemphasis on feelings. Motivation is too reliant on feelings. If you need to get something done, you mean to tell me if someone hurts your feelings or something happens that makes you not feel so good, it's not going to get done? Because when you think about how motivation works, motivation usually comes when you're feeling good, you're feeling on top of the world. But unfortunately, as human beings, we don't feel that way all the time. There's a lot of times that we do not feel very good. And if we need to get something done, and whether we do it or not is based on how we feel, then it's not going to get done. Number 9, potential for disappointment. When you are relying on motivation, you're in essence setting yourself up for disappointment. You're setting yourself up for failure. Because when that motivation goes, or when you hit hardship, and things don't go the way that you envisioned it, or the way that you hoped it would go, now, not only are you not motivated, now you're disappointed. So that adds an extra obstacle to get over and an extra thing that's in your way when you're trying to get something done. And last but not least, when we put all of our emphasis on motivation, what we're also doing is we're neglecting the importance of discipline. Discipline, make no mistake about it, is going to be the key. When we neglect the importance of discipline, we're basically not giving ourselves the tools that we need to get something done. We have to be very, very, very clear about what it will take to do the things that we want to do. We have to be very clear that discipline is the most important ingredient. If we fool ourselves or try to fool ourselves that all we need is motivation, we miss out on an opportunity to sharpen our discipline. Discipline is the most important element to getting anything done. And going about it in a way that gives us any other notion other than discipline is the answer is a huge mistake, and we won't get anything done. So I'll go over the list again, 10 things. Our inherent resistance to change, number 1. Number 2, unpredictability of motivation. Number 3, external dependency of motivation. Number 4, it's a procrastination enabler. Number 5, emotional fluctuations. Number 6, our lack of control over motivation. Number 7, the short-term focus of motivation. Number 8, the emphasis on feelings. Number 9, potential for disappointment. And number 10, neglect of discipline. So guys, please Motivation is a great thing. When it comes, use it, but don't wait on it to come. And I said this before on a previous video, but the only way to conjure up motivation is by action first. The only way to make motivation predictable is by acting. That means that the only thing that can produce motivation is discipline, is action. Yes, motivation can be a great thing. Motivation feels really, really good. But waiting on it and relying on it is a waste of time because it just does not come when you need it. So, hopefully that was informative. Hopefully that opened up your eyes a little bit. And hopefully we all learned something. Coach Suley, Reps and Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This was Mat Chat.